People around college football want chaos in Boulder. They want Deion Sanders to leave Colorado. They want all of the Colorado hype to die. But we have a pretty big update on the Deion Sanders situation.
You are Locked On Buffs, your daily podcast on the Colorado Buffaloes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Buffs. I'm your host, Kevin Bohr, but today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. We're also brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day for free and available wherever you get your podcast. So thank you guys for making me your first listen. Like I said, free and available wherever you get your podcast. Let's talk about it. The Colorado Buffaloes are in the news frequently because a lot of people are spreading the news, spreading the rumor, entertaining the rumor, poking fun at the Buffs about Deion Sanders leaving for the Dallas Cowboys job. Now, we've already had confirmation that there's yet to be a formal interview, but we got, I don't want to say the kiss of death on those conversations, but the kiss of death in a good way, if you will, if you're a Colorado fan. Adam Schefter reported earlier today that on Get Up Thursday morning, he said, and this is about Deion Sanders and the Dallas Cowboys, it has quieted, quote, it has quieted. I think they have focused in on other candidates that they want to get to know better. They want to get to know the ideas of what they think would run things if they were a head coach. He continued saying, I think Jerry Jones knows Deion Sanders is always there. Deion never committed to taking the job or not taking the job. Jerry Jones never committed to it was just a conversation. Obviously, everybody got carried away with it, and we'll see if that continues on. But right now, it looks like they're looking at these other candidates to decide whether or not to move forward with them. So, obviously, if you guys haven't heard, Brett Schottenmeier is the name that pops up for that Cowboys job. And if you're a Colorado fan, you have to be a little pleased, right? Even though we've known for quite some time now that this is Deion Sanders using as leverage. Now, I think people got confused yesterday when I talked about using this as leverage because they automatically think I'm saying Deion Sanders thinks he's not getting paid enough. No, Deion Sanders, I mean, I think he should be paid more because I think he's worth more with all the value he brings in. But Deion Sanders is not complaining or leveraging for himself, for his pockets. He's leveraging to get more help around him. And Joel Klatt confirmed that as well. He said, you know what? Colorado needs more investment from fans. They need more investment from the program. They want to upgrade facilities. They want to upgrade the coaching pool dollar amount because Coach Prime's trying to build something special. And I think it's a unique situation because at the end of the day, everyone in college football, fans, coaches, ADs, presidents, players, everyone wants their program to be viewed as we view us as an elite school. We view us as one of the top schools in the program. But when it's time to actually invest in the school, when it's time to actually put that money back into the program, a lot of programs aren't willing to do it, right? There's a sense of some programs are happy with making it to a bowl game every year. Some programs are happy to get to that 8-win mark. And they're like, yeah, we did it. We kind of made a little bit noise. And then they'll be happy with a conference title appearance every 5 years, every 10 years, whatever it is, right? Because not every program views itself as a contender. Not every program views itself realistically as someone who can compete with the big dogs of college football. And while Colorado is not a big dog of college football yet, Deion Sanders is doing everything in his power to make sure that they get to that point where, hey, we're not going to get outbid by people. Hey, you are not going to go to a Colorado facility and be like, it kind of looks like a high school, or X school here had a better game room, or X school here had a barbershop and we didn't, or X school here had a state-of-the-art training center and this is okay, right? So Deion Sanders, he's an NFL legend, right? He knows what it takes to win at the highest level. He won a Super Bowl. He knows what top athletes want, right? He's also, and I don't think he gets enough credit for this because it's not really something that people care about. He's very in touch with what's going on, right? He's very, and I think his social media presence is very important, even if it's not him running the account. I think he's very in touch with what's going on, and I think that helps elevate Colorado. So Deion Sanders is making sure that, hey, we are going to have all the amenities that these top programs have, right? He probably wants Colorado to be get to a point as a program, where if a recruit chooses another program, it's simply because, hey, I want to play in this conference, or hey, I wanted to play for this coach, right? You're not gonna. Deion Sanders does not want Colorado in a position where it's like, hey, I would pick you, but your facilities suck, or hey, I would pick you, but I'm not a big fan of whatever, right? So this update from Adam Schefter, while I know a lot of people are gonna scoff at it and be like, we knew Deion Sanders wasn't leaving, blah blah blah. Listen, until Deion Sanders signs that contract extension or Colorado commits to whatever he's asking for, which I talked about his demands on yesterday's episode, so go check that out. Until they commit to that, till he says it, till they publicly say it, we have to assume that anything can happen. Now, if you ask me what percent chance I gave of Deion Sanders leaving Colorado right now, I'd put it at about a 10% chance, right? I think there's a 90% chance that he stays in Boulder. I think he's doing everything he can to make sure that this job is the best job possible, because I think Deion Sanders has learned, and I think people around the country are starting to learn, that Colorado gives him everything he wants, right? He can run his program how he wants, 50 plus transfers each year. He can have his son record the team and make content off of it. He could have multiple videographers following him around for content. He could have an Amazon Prime documentary ongoing every year. He could do whatever he damn well pleases in Boulder, and that's not the case everywhere else. He doesn't get pressure from the boosters. He doesn't get pressure from the program to be like, hey, you lost to, I don't know, Kansas, right? What are we doing here, right? He doesn't get that pressure. He gets unwavering support, and he has everything he could, or he has the potential to have everything he can or could want in Boulder. So I think a lot of people are stuck on this, like Deion Sanders to the Dallas Cowboys, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I don't think it'll happen. And I don't think Deion Sanders is purposely trying to back Colorado into a corner. I think he's trying to show them that, hey, I view this as a legitimate title contending program, but we are not investing in ourselves as such. And if they're not going to invest in it, why would he stay? So I think Deion Sanders is giving Colorado a gentle nudge. It is nice to know, if you're a Colorado fan, that, hey, he's not going to take the Cowboys job, or at least it doesn't seem like it. So you're getting another year of Coach Prime. At least that's what it looks like, which is a pretty big deal. And I just think that's Deion Sanders' way of kind of gently giving the nudge of, hey, let's make something happen. When we come back, we got a huge Cormani McClain update, and I think it'll be one that a lot of you guys appreciate. This episode of Locked On Buffs is brought to you by our sponsor over at Talkspace. Therapy is a game changer. It can help massage stress, improve sleep, and communicate more effectively. But finding the right therapist and fitting sessions into a busy schedule can be a challenge. That's where Talkspace comes in. Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, makes getting the help you need easy, accessible, and affordable. With Talkspace, signing up is simple. You can match with a licensed therapist who fits your needs, usually within 48 hours, and it's convenient. You can have sessions from the comfort of your home and even message your therapist between appointments. Plus, Talkspace is covered by many insurance plans, and for most insured members, there's a $0 copay. It's never been easier to prioritize mental health. As a listener of this podcast, you'll get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com/LockedOnCollege and enter promo code SPACE80 to match with a licensed therapist today. Go to Talkspace.com/LockedOnCollege and enter promo code SPACE80 to get $80 off your first month and show your support for the show. That's Talkspace.com/LockedOnCollege, promo code SPACE80. Welcome back to Locked On Buffs. Appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts. So thank you guys for making me your first listen of the day, liking, subscribing, following, making me a part of your daily routine. And if you or someone you know enjoys this podcast, make sure to like, subscribe, give me those 5 stars. So that way we can continue to grow the community, continue to grow and have some fun. Let's talk about it. Cormani McClain. Right. Let's just go over the Cormani McClain experience in Boulder before we dive into the latest news. Cormani McClain was the first 5-star that Deion Sanders landed at Colorado, obviously not including Travis Hunter, who transferred. He was the first 5-star recruit. We'll put it that way. He was someone who, and John Garcia Jr., my former co-host, Rivals recruiting analyst now, he's in Florida. He knows the Cormani saga all too well. The way he explained it on the show and to me was Cormani was supposed to go to Florida or Miami, and then on signing day, he decided to go to a different school. Like, I forgot which order it was, but he was supposed to go to one of those schools. And then on signing day, all of a sudden did not sign. And then things took a turn again. And then he went to sign again. And he was expected to sign with one of the Florida schools. And all of a sudden, Colorado was in the picture. He gets to Boulder late. He gets to Boulder a little bit out of shape and isn't ready. He has some issues where he's publicly called out by Deion Sanders for not showing up to meetings, showing up on time to meetings. He's not working hard. He's not watching film, whatever. And he wasn't playing, right? Then he gets thrust into action, has a couple bright moments, has some not so great games. And all of a sudden, the Cormani McClain experience was over. And he decides to enter his name to the transfer portal, which I had told you guys on the show, like, hey, he's going to leave. And a lot of people didn't believe me. They're like, why would he leave? He was just in a well-off media video. Yeah, the video was the least convincing thing I'd ever seen, and he went into the portal anyway. And then, on top of that, he released a YouTube video saying that what he was looking for a program, took a blatant shot at Coach Prime in Colorado, saying, I feel like I just don't want to play for clicks. This was last April. I actually want to be involved with a great leading program that's going to develop players. And then he ended up having a unique market, right? I don't think he had the transfer portal market that he expected. I think schools like USF, Memphis were coming after him. He wasn't getting that 5-star treatment that I think he got as a recruit. So he ends up walking on at Florida, and he only played in, I think, 3 games this past year, got 1 start, but he had his biggest moment against Kentucky, picks the quarterback off, returns it for a pick 6, and all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, Cormani McClain's back. He's a walk-on. There was murmurs of him not really living up to expectations when he first got to Gainesville in terms of showing up to things again, but I think he matured a little bit. Well, on Wednesday night, it was revealed that Cormani McClain was being put on scholarship by Florida head coach Billy Napier, which kind of shows that I think Cormani is making steps in the right direction. And I think a lot of guys, the best thing for them is to get away from home. Maybe in the case of Cormani McClain, it was the best case was to get closer to home. The Lakeland, Florida product is a guy who everyone I've talked to about him, they're like, he has all the tools. He has the athleticism. He has the instinct. He just needs to know how to be a football player at the next level, right? I think there was a lot of he's gifted as an athlete. He's gifted in high school for sure. He was a lot better than the average competition he was facing. And I'm not necessarily sure that he was always putting in the proper work or he knew how to work. And a lot of athletes don't know how to work, especially not at the college level. But he kind of fell into this, like, it seemed like a trap of like, oh, I actually have to do stuff. And I'm not used to actually having to follow these rules or having to do this. So Cormani McClain's tenure in Boulder doesn't end well. And I think Coach Prime kept it very cordial. And I think everyone in Colorado kept it very cordial. They never really called him out because from what I was told about his time in Boulder, it wasn't ideal, right? It wasn't like Cormani came in. He came in, put in all this work and was putting in full effort. And it was just like, oh yeah, this guy gets it, right? Wasn't the case. He was someone who I think, how do I put this lightly? He needed a push. He needed some guidance and he needed some help. And I think he needed tough love. And I don't know if he was ready for tough love. And I know he got that for a fact from Coach Prime and all those guys over there. And so I think there's just a little bit of maturing to do. And unfortunately, it didn't happen in Boulder. So we never really got to see the Travis Hunter, Cormani McClain corner duo. But I'm happy for him. And I think all of you guys should be happy for him as well. Because obviously, even though he's no longer a Buff, he started his career in Boulder. He has a lot of potential, and you never want to see wasted potential. And so I'm happy that he sort of seems to be trending in the right direction. When we come back, Colorado was hit with an NCAA violation. Is it serious? Are people going to lose jobs or no? We'll find out. This episode of Locked On Buffs is brought to you by Game Time. Let me tell you about Game Time, because if you or a loved one want to go to an event, Game Time is the place to do it. Attending NFL playoff games is an experience like no other. The energy, the excitement, and the connection with other fans are unmatched. I remember the thrill of seeing my favorite team clinch a playoff win live. It's a memory I'll never forget. Me and my fiance, we went to the 49ers-Lions game, NFC Championship last year. 49ers are down by 20 plus at half. They come pounding back. beat the Lions to advance to the Super Bowl. Obviously, we know how it went, but it was a memory. It was a moment that I won't forget. We used Game Time to get those tickets. We had great seats. It was a great experience. We were surrounded by fans who were just there to have some fun. And Game Time makes it even easier to create those unforgettable moments with their new feature, Game Time Picks. It filters out the fluff and shows you only the best deals on great seats, so you could focus on what matters, being there. I use Game Time Picks, like I said, to grab tickets to the NFC Championship game last year, and it was super easy. I found a super deal that gave me incredible value for amazing seats, and I could even preview the view from my spot before buying. The all-in price is a game changer. No surprise fees at checkouts. Plus, knowing my tickets are backed by the Game Time guarantee gave me complete peace of mind. So take the guesswork into buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game Time. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Welcome back. It's Locked On Buffs. Appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast. And make sure to like, subscribe, follow. Give me those 5 stars so that way we continue to grow the show. I'm hoping to get some really cool content this upcoming week. I'll be in Frisco, Texas for the East-West Senior Bowl. I'll be covering the Buffs, the Colorado Buffaloes, that is, obviously. Shador will be there. Shiloh will be there. Cameron Summin Craig, Will Shepard, LeJounte Wester. It's going to be the squad, some of the favorites. So hoping to get some really cool content over there. Let's talk about it. Colorado was smacked with a minor violation of NCAA rules during the 2024 season because Deion Sanders mentioned the name of quarterback Julian Lewis during a live stream of his weekly coaches show, according to the USA Today. And this is what the USA Today has said. The school agreed to implement new institutional controls on the weekly football coaches show. The content will no longer be live streamed. External relations will therefore be able to review and edit content that could be constructed as impermissible public publicity of recruits. The minor violation occurred in November, which was before Lewis had signed with the program or could sign with the program with the Buffaloes on the first day of the early signing period, which was December 4th. And Sanders or another member of the show specifically mentioned Lewis's name twice on the weekly coaches show in the days following Lewis's November 21st commitment to Colorado. And then it says NCAA rules prohibit coaches and schools from commenting on recruits before they officially sign. The violation was and it was self-reported, 6 self-reported infractions of the Colorado football program processed in 2024. Obviously, it said there was just a mention of Julian Lewis, and it's one of those things where you're excited about it, and you bring it up, and Colorado had 5 minor violations in 2023, and it doesn't really matter. Like it's not like they're cheating the system. The violations in 2023, a recruit attended a go-kart event that cost $67, and the NCAA rule limits the cost to provide entertainment for recruits to $60. So he was declared ineligible for competition until a $7 difference was repaid to charity. So shout out to the NCAA for really protecting the sport of college football and all they care about, because, I mean, the NCAA, and I'll just go on this tangent before I leave, is an absolute joke. The NCAA cannot enforce anything anymore. We saw it with Diego Pavia, the JUCO rule, where it's like, hey, I was at a junior college while players were profiting off NIL, and I didn't get to profit off NIL, so therefore I should get an extra year of eligibility. And the NCAA was like, well, we can't do anything about it. And then recently, there was a Wisconsin player who was trying to enter the transfer portal. Wisconsin wouldn't basically submit his paperwork to enter the transfer portal. So all of a sudden, it was like, oh my gosh, like he's being held hostage. Well, he kind of did this thing where he just unenrolled from Wisconsin and then enrolled at Miami. And now he's playing at Miami, or he's going to play at Miami. So the NCAA has been a joke for a while. And I think with the new transfer portal, NIL, and all of this advancement of the sport, there's not really a place for them anymore. I don't really know what it is. College football needs a commissioner. They need like a governing body that can actually enforce things, and that is not the NCAA. So I think a lot of people are going to try to make these violations with Julian Lewis a thing, but realistically, this is what the violations are for, because they have the quote. Mark Johnson, who's known as the voice of the Buffs, he talked about Lewis, and he like mentioned Lewis without bringing him up, which prompted Sanders to explain how he recruited him. He said, hey, and this is Sanders said, "Hey, get Juju on the phone and get his papa on the phone. See if his dad wants to come down and sit down and chop it up with me." And then it says the coach's show in question was taken down from the program's YouTube channel. A few hours later, the next week's show had another incident where when a new host who was not a school employee mentioned Lewis in question about bowl preparation, while Sanders didn't specifically say Lewis's name in this instance, thanks to a university employee interjecting and quickly changing the subject, it was still deemed impermissible, and the show was removed from the YouTube less than an hour. So it's one of those things where Coach Prime, he wasn't being set up, right? I think not everyone's aware of these NCAA rules violations because there's so many stupid rules. So Colorado slapped with a slap on the wrist, if you will. It doesn't really mean anything. I imagine the fine will be something stupid like, hey, you got to go mow the lawn or something. You got to go water the plants. But Colorado will be A-okay. And I know you guys were probably worried because there's going to be a lot of clickbait articles where it's like Deion Sanders commits NCAA violations. And it's like, okay, relax, right? He's not running the Pony Express out here. It's not a Reggie Bush situation where he's buying players' houses or completing, like, breaking the law or something like in the basketball scandal. Either way, I just want to update you guys on that. So that way you knew what actually happened. So you weren't getting it from a source who's like, yeah, Deion Sanders, dude, he just like violated a bunch of rules. That's not what happened. So now you guys know. Appreciate you guys for tuning in every single day, making me your first listen of the day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. I will see you guys tomorrow. Everyone have a great rest of your day.